Welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville here with Tyler Wiemann, about to break down some fantasy baseball for you on this Tuesday, Taco Tuesday edition of the On Deck podcast. And you know what? We were talking about Zach Davies yesterday and how, the baseball gods have a way of just distributing justice when necessary. Yep. And for him, we all probably have heard by now the story of him ghosting his wife for over a year. She has since filed for divorce, but we now refer to him as the ghoster. Well, yesterday, he got knocked around quite a bit. He actually had to exit the game. He got hit in the leg, but, we never delight in anyone's injury. Hope he's okay. Yes. However, this got us to thinking about karma and how even in baseball, it always, it just always comes back to you.
Since this has came out, Davies has had 7.2 innings pitched, has allowed 15 hits and 4 home runs for over a 10-point ERA. That's karma.
That is karma. You know what? Mm-hmm. What you put out into the universe, you get back. That's all I will say about that.
I like how you're using a softer voice, too.
Well, I don't want to go too hard against
your holistic self.
The guy's probably pretty upset. As you ghost. Can we just not ghost people? Just speak to them.
I don't know how you break up with your wife via text and then just block her and ghost her for a year. I want to hear his side of the story.
We really do.
I want to hear his side. There's got to be more to the story.
Yeah, and then they need to, it sounds like a Dr. Phil episode, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. We just need closure, okay? We just want to see everyone move on and find their way.
Do you have any good karma stories?
Do I?
I put you on the spot.
I would have to think. I'm sure I do. I would have to think about that. Do you?
I told you one this morning where I was in Mexico with my friend and somebody was asking for his shoes. It was like the day we got there. And later that night, he ended up getting Montezuma's revenge. And he was literally laying in his bed crying that he should have given his shoes away. So then this wouldn't have been happening to him.
And I'm sure he's thrilled to just recount
he
it all
loves it.
on the On the On Deck
I bring
podcast.
it up all the time, and he's like, I'm not crying. I wasn't crying.
It's just a reminder. You just got to treat people well, if for nothing else. Then it doesn't come back in your face by Montezuma's revenge or a line drive to the shin. All right, let's move on and start talking about our daily fantasy plays for today. We'll start off with our pitchers for today in our high-owned chalk report. Yes. A lot of great pitchers on the slate today, so we've got a lot of guys to choose from and sort through here. First is we've got a Cy Young matchup in San Diego. Brewers righty Corbin Burns will be facing the Padres, 40% owned on DraftKings, 33% on FanDuel. The reigning NL Cy Young winner is LineStar's highest projected pitcher by 3 points. 2.26 ERA for him, 190 opponent average. He's top 10 in strikeouts versus right-handers. So, what do you see from Burns today?
Let's start out with pointing out the Padres have won 5 straight. They're
congratulations to you.
Half a game back from the Dodgers.
No, that is not bitterness you detect in my voice. Maybe a little.
How are the Yankees doing?
Okay. About Burnsy.
Anyways, Burns, 3.37 FIP over the last 5, 2.7 FIP over the last 20. He's obviously a great pitcher. Combined K rate's 27%. Only bad thing I can really find is that he's allowed a decent amount of barreled balls lately and 42% hard contact this year. So that's really, the only bad. Padres have been hot, but hitting-wise, they're not that great. They've been pitching really well.
So still worth the play on Burns? Or do we have so many good pitchers today, maybe fade him a little bit, knowing that everyone else is going there?
I think you could fade him a little bit. The one thing is, his projection, the consensus projection on him is significantly higher. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of do it at your own risk.
Right.
But
Oh, I messed up this stat. I meant top 10 in strikeouts. The Padres were top 10 in strikeouts versus right-handed pitching, so that could bode well for Burns. Sorry to bring that up.
Yeah,
I gotta.
Well, Padres are way better against
Yeah.
lefties. Manny Machado, if you're a lefty, you don't even want to pitch to him right now.
I know. Manny doing Manny things.
Yes.
Twins righty Sonny Gray is our next pitcher going up against the Tigers. MLB.com says his nickname is Pickles.
Pickles.
Which made me wonder if those were even accurate because that's such a random name.
Maybe just like pickles.
Could be. 35% owned on DraftKings, 6% on FanDuel. By the way, I do not like pickles. I just have to say that.
Thanks.
That's my hot take for the day. Not a pickles fan right here. I am a fan of Sonny Gray, though. 3.48 ERA, 218 opponent average. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his starts. 10.89 K per 9. And keep in mind the average this season is around 8.5. So been crushing it with the strikeouts. And the Tigers not doing much at the plate in the month of May, third lowest average. So a great matchup today for Sonny Gray.
Yeah, and he's super cheap on DraftKings, which is really why the ownership's there. He's $6,800 on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's $8,200, which is why the ownership isn't there on FanDuel. But he's been great. Last 5 starts, 3.98 FIP, 28% K rate, which is showing that upside in the K department, like you were talking about. And his last 2 starts, he's got up to the mid-80s with his pitch count, so he's almost fully stretched out. And he's against Detroit, second worst against righties with WRC+. They strike out 24%. Simply, he's just a decent pitcher with a lot of upside in the first strikeouts on today's slate.
So good play there.
There's a few cheap guys today that are pretty good.
Nice. So, yeah, like the value there.
The other thing is I saw that his K line is 6.5. So that's pretty high for a guy at his price.
So, yeah. I like to look at the line sometimes as well, just to see what the sports book is kind of predicting.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea of what they're thinking.
Good thought there, Tyler. All right, the other side of that matchup, that Cy Young matchup we're talking about, is Padres lefty Blake Snell, Snellzilla. Just as a baseball fan, really looking forward to seeing him out there and what he can do against the Brewers today. 25% owned on DraftKings, 20% on FanDuel. This is the 2018 Cy Young winner. Now, he just made his return.
Yes.
So, last time out against the Phillies, 3 earned runs, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 3 2/3. 5 strikeouts in 3 2/3. Not bad.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of an unknown factor with Snellzilla today, but also some high upside maybe.
There is some strikeout upside. He has like a 30% K rate over his last 20 starts, so he definitely has the upside in the K department. Milwaukee's below average and strikes out 23% of the time, so he is another cheaper option with good K upside. The one thing I would like to point out is at home, he has a 2.5 ERA for his career versus 4.4 on the road. So with this game being in San Diego, you look at that ERA. Yeah, the one thing I would point out is in the minors over his 4 starts this year, he has a 3.7 ERA, 24 Ks and 16 innings, again showing that K upside. But he hasn't been great. He hasn't been his sharp self quite yet, so hopefully he can bring that today. But
see that,
just know that there is a little risk there if you're taking Snell.
And how about the risk with White Sox righty Dillon Cease going up against the Red Sox today? He's about 24% owned on DraftKings, 16% on FanDuel. He's got a 3.09 ERA, leads the league in strikeouts. 13.81 is his K per 9. That's a career high for him, while his walks per 9 is at a career low. And the Red Sox, though, have the second highest average in May. So not the best matchup for him, but still, it's Dillon Cease, who's just a strikeout machine.
Cease is filthy. Over the last 5, he has a 42% K rate.
Wow.
Over his last 20, it's 36.6%, which is still astronomically high. He has great strikeout stuff. A 1.83 FIP over the last 5. Simply, he's been great. Thing with Boston versus righties, they're only striking out 20% of the time. So may not have quite the K upside that he normally does today. The other thing is Boston's hot, and he's allowing 38% hard contact and 50% fly balls. And the BVP. Boston, in 50 plate attempts versus Cease, is hitting 293.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting matchup to see today.
It will be. I mean,
because you wonder if Cease is going to start regressing to his career averages, but he's looking, I don't know.
I think he's just getting better. I really do. He's a really good pitcher.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look at some lower-owned pitchers for today, see where we can maybe find a little bit of an edge. Diamondbacks righty Zach Gallen is going up against the Royals today. He's only 9% owned on DraftKings and 2% owned on FanDuel. 1.14 ERA, and he's legitimate ace stuff for the D-backs. 146 opponent average. The former UNC Tar Heel. He hasn't given up more than one earned run the past 3 starts.
Yeah, and his FIP number is really good too. He's at 2.4% or 2.4 FIP, 26% K rate. And the thing is, he's been even better at home. 0.75 ERA at home and striking out 10.5 batters per 9 versus on the road, he's at a 1.76 ERA and striking out just under 7 per 9. And then we have KC, below average offense, striking out 22%. So he's in a good spot. He's at home.
Home is where the heart is.
It is.
And for Gallen, it's where the strikeouts are too, I guess. All right. Well, Mariners righty George Kirby's going up against the A's, and not surprising to just go with the pitchers facing the A's.
Yeah.
19% owned on DraftKings, 2% owned on FanDuel. Kirby's got a 259 opponent average in the last outing. He did give up a ton of runs to the Red Sox, 5 earned runs. 2 of those, 2 home runs in 5 innings pitched. You just like his matchup today, right?
And, I mean, he got beat up against the Mets a little bit, too. Both of those were on the road. His one start at home, he went 6 innings, had 7 Ks, no earned runs. Against Tampa Bay, too, so it's another decent offense. So, really, he's faced 3 good offenses. He was a big-time prospect. He had a 30% K rate. In the minors, right now it's showing like 18%, but I think part of the reason is he faced the Mets and the Red Sox that don't strike out much. When he faced Tampa, who strikes out a decent amount, he had 7 Ks.
Way to put it into context. Now I'm really liking this Kirby play.
Yeah, and Oakland, we talked about, they're just bad. Strike out 24% of the time versus righties, the worst WRC plus in the league. Also, Kirby's FIP is 3.89, and he's faced 3 good offenses. So he's been good. On DraftKings, his price is super cheap. He's like 6K. So I love the upside and ownership on Kirby today.
Another home is where the heart is matchup today.
2
Kirby will be at home.
Going home.
All right, now taking a look at our stacks for today. We're going to start off with our high-owned stacks, and a lot of people looking to the Minnesota Twins going up today against Tigers' Beau Brisky. What do you see? Is this a risky play?
Not for the Twins. It is if you want to play Beau, good old Beau. He has a 6.68 FIP, and he's allowing 2.4 home runs per 9, 47% fly balls. Meanwhile, Minnesota's been average versus righties. And there's a 4.5 implied total here. But bottom line is Beau's allowed a lot of home runs. Twins, they're heating up. They also have a few guys that can definitely hit the ball out of the park. So
Aaron Buxton, hey, buddy.
Buxton, Sanchez is heating up. They got a lot of good platoon guys, too. So you can get a fairly cheap stack with them, and they're going against Detroit, who has a terrible pitcher.
All right, let's take a look now at the Arizona Diamondbacks going up against Royals righty Jonathan Heasley. In 2 games this season, Heasley has a 4.32 ERA, 2.50 opponent average. In last game, 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, just 1 strikeout. Not often that I would ever think to go Diamondbacks, but in this case, it can make sense.
Yes. One thing I would like to bring up is that in May, they have 119 WRC plus, which is tied for 5th in the league.
Wow.
So Arizona has been great in May. They've been hitting the ball well. Halsey has a 5.5 FIP. However, he has yet to give up a home run. Last season, though, he did give up 1.8 per 9.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely going to probably be some regression to that number, and he's going to let some home runs. He is giving up 45% hard contact and 33% line drives. The other thing is that Arizona versus righties actually walks a lot, and they're at like 10%, and Halsey has given up 7 walks in 8.1 innings. So there's a 4.9 implied total on this one for the Diamondbacks, and they're probably going to do just fine against good old Halsey.
All right. Next up, we've got the Dodgers going up against Nationals. Josiah Gray's got a 4.36 ERA, and he gives up a ton of home runs.
Yep.
6 of 8 games, he's given up a home run. He's got a 1.87 home run per 9, and that's almost a full point higher than what the league average is. So quite simply, the Dodgers, it could be kind of a home run derby situation.
And he's been worse at home. He has a 6.3 ERA at home, and he's giving up almost 3 home runs per 9 at home versus 2.2 per 9 as far as his season total.
It's interesting because it's just Nationals Park, you know?
Totally.
It's relatively neutral, right?
He's also getting destroyed by lefties. Lefties have a 297 batting average against him, and he's given up 7 home runs and 74 plate attempts to lefties. The Dodgers are also the best offense in the league versus righties, so you can't go wrong stacking the Dodgers today.
The Dodgers there.
Yeah.
Well, they might be a little pricey, though.
They will be, but as we talked about in the pitchers, there's a lot of good cheap pitchers today.
Nice. All right, let's take a look at some low-owned stacks for you to find you some of that value that we're looking for. Today, we're going to start off with the Astros going up against Guardians righty Zach Plesac, who's got a 4.42 ERA, 2.63 opponent average. Not terrible, but also you can see these Astros bats starting to kind of come alive and... Astros you can't kind of go wrong with right now.
Yeah, they're the 4th best team versus righties now, which all through April they were kind of middle of the road. We kept talking about how, okay, when are they going to turn it on? Well, they have. Yeah. And Plesac, 5.22 FIP over the last 5 on the he's a 5 FIP on the season, allowing 1.4 home runs per 9, 41% fly balls, and they have a 4.6 implied total. So the implied total isn't too much off the Dodgers, but nobody's going there.
Nice. So a good play there.
Yeah.
Mariners going up against A's righty James Caprillion, 4.50 ERA for Caprillion. Last game gave up 2 bombs in 5 1/3 against the Twins. He's got a sub 200 opponent average. So I could see some Mariners bats maybe taking him deep.
Yeah, so Seattle has been the best offense in the league at home. They have 137 WRC plus at home. They're 2nd in the league at home and versus righties. And they're also just a top 10 team against righties altogether. James sports a 5.16 FIP. He's allowing 1.5 home runs per 9. He's walking 5 per 9. And Seattle's kind of a cheaper stack. They do really well at home, so I like going there a little bit.
That's interesting, just because we always associate Seattle with such a pitcher-friendly venue. However,
for whatever reason, this team has been hitting way better at home than on the road.
Because they figured it out.
Yep.
All right, how about Baltimore Orioles going up against Yankees lefty Jordan Montgomery? Now, Montgomery's not a bad pitcher. 3.35 ERA, although he did face them 5 days ago, 7 hits, 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, just 3 strikeouts for him. So this is a Baltimore team that is pretty hot right now.
Yeah, they're hot. They just saw Montgomery. Also in 123 plate attempts against Montgomery, they're hitting 309. So it's not like last game was just, they got to him once. It's been happening. He also has a 4.3 FIP over the last 5. So it's not like he's been, a amazing pitcher. They can definitely get to him. It's in Yankees ballpark with that short porch.
It's interesting
The
because
Little League ballpark.
We used to be taking, a few weeks ago, we were always taking the pitcher that was facing the Orioles because the Orioles they hadn't gotten it together offensively, and now we're going the other way with it.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been a good hitting team.
And last season they were the same way too, where they have some talent, they can hit the ball, they have some speed, they have some power, so it's easy to build a stack with them.
All right, so some good plays there. Remember, if you want to optimize your lineup, be sure to visit LineStarApp.com and download the LineStar app. Definitely check it out. It's where we get all our stats and information, whether we're looking to play daily fantasy or create some awesome prop bets for you. And speaking of all that, we're going to head to our home run calls for today. Who you got for today in your home run call?
I'm going with the Angels lefty, Jared Walsh. He is hitting 800 with a 600 ISO off Dane Dunning. He has 1 home run and 9 plate attempts. And if Walsh doesn't get to Dunning, he's got the Texas bullpen, which is the worst in the league. We're going Jared Walsh for a home run.
I'm going Freddie Freeman. He's going up against Nationals righty Josiah Gray. And listen to these splits for Gray. Against righties, Gray's limiting hitters to a .294 slugging percentage. However, against lefty bats, that number skyrockets to .676. Lefties just teeing off of Gray. And then that obviously bodes well for the lefty Freddie Freeman, who's been heating up in the month of May. .321 average in May. Last 77 days, a .500 slugging percentage. This prop is plus 475 on DraftKings, which kind of surprised me. So some good value there. Also, his bases prop at 1.5 bases is plus 110. So great value in the sports book for Freddie Freeman today. And I think he goes yard today. Like those Dodgers bats today.
Freeman's in such a good spot.
All right. Now let's take a look at our prop bets for today. Where are you headed?
All right, we are going to Seattle with George Kirby over 4.5 Ks at plus 110. I just think this line is too low. He's versus a team that strikes out 27.6% while on the road. Kirby's four-seam has a 31% whiff rate. His changeup, 25% whiff rate. In the minors, he showed a 30% K rate. He hasn't shown that much in the majors, but I think it's coming. He's also been a lot better at home. So.
Keeping it with those pitchers, prop.
Yep.
Going for 2
Keep
in a row.
going.
We're going to have a perfect week for you.
Yes.
All right, I'm going Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini over 1.5 bases. This is at plus 150. This value is just crazy to me. Mancini's batting .382 in the month of May, and he's hit this 1.5 bases mark in 5 of the last 7 games. What really seals the deal for me on this prop, though, is his numbers against Yankees lefty Jordan Montgomery. Listen to this. He has a .438 average against Gumby in 21 at-bats over the last 2 seasons. Give me the over 1.5 bases with Trey Mancini plus 150. I feel like you can't go wrong there.
Those odds are great.
That's awesome. Yeah. So go ahead and place that bet. Let's go. Also, it's 2 for Tuesday. Got a bonus for you guys.
Oh.
You ready? We got a stolen base prop. Let's go. I'm going with a Texas Rangers stolen base prop today also because Angels pitcher Noah Syndergaard is giving up the most stolen bases this season. He's averaging actually about 2 stolen bases per start. So I think some of the Rangers might steal a base, and Adolis Garcia's, that prop is at plus 425, and their stolen base leader is Eli White. And it wasn't listed the last I checked, but if you can find an Eli White stolen bases prop, take it. I like those plays today as well. Haven't done a stolen base prop in a while, so
I like it.
Got some speeder on the base paths. Let's go. Taking a look at some weather conditions to keep an eye on. We've got the Dodgers at Nationals, 40% chance of rain. Should be okay though from what we've read about in the reports so far, but keep an eye on it. Phillies at Atlanta, there are storms in the area. And from the weather reports that I was reading, they kind of don't really know what's going to happen with them, if they're going to miss altogether. But there is a 42% chance of rain there. So just something to keep an eye on. It might be, some of these southern storms that roll through when the temperatures get really hot, because the temperature is in the 80s there. So that makes for great hitting weather, but also could be some storms. Tigers at Minnesota Twins, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in. Don't see that too much of a factor, though. And Toronto at St. Louis, 13% chance of rain, but that should hold off. Lots of weather today. I'm used to
a little bit.
Some sunny skies.
Not
so
much
for that.
Not much hitting weather either.
Not much hitting weather. We got to get those temperatures up. Let's go.
Yeah, we do.
We need some more hitting, especially for my hitting props. Although you don't need that for your pitching
Kirby
props.
will be fine.
All right. That's it for us today. For more stats and analytics, be sure to go to LineStarApp.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good one. Bye.